If you are shopping for a new sofa but think, oh, maybe this is an opportunity to buy a sofa chaise instead, but you don't know if it's going to make sense for you, I have 3 things that you can think about and take a look at so that you can make that decision which one will be better. So the first thing is to see if you have enough space in your living room for a sofa chaise instead of a sofa. And if we take a look at a sofa and a sofa chaise of the same size, well, that width of the sofa and the sofa chaise will take up the same amount of space. But of course, the one part that changes is that the chaise part, that chaise or that seat part where you can recline in the sofa will stick out more. And that longer reclining seat area is referred to as a chaise or a chaise longue. And those are French words. Chaise is the word for chair and longue is the word for long. So it just means a longer area or longer seat for us to recline. So with that longer chaise part on the sofa chaise, we want to plan on around 24 inches or so of how much farther out that part of the sofa chaise will come out from the sofa or stick out into the room. And of course, this will depend on the design of the sofa chaise. But if you plan on 24 inches or so, that will help you know if you have enough space. And when we're talking about enough space, well, one thing to keep in mind is that it's ideal if we can plan on 36 inches of free and clear open space for walkways. So this is important when we are talking about maybe the edge of that sofa chaise, especially in a room like this where there is a walkway that is right in front of that sofa chaise, and we need to move from one area of a room to another area of the room or even to other rooms. And ideally, it would be nice if we can have 36 inches of free and clear space from the edge of that chaise part of the sofa. So with your setup, if you have enough room for that 36-inch walkway, then you could choose a sofa chaise or a sofa. Or if you have a living room set up like this one, where it's almost kind of an enclosed area, almost like a destination area where you would place your sofa chaise or sofa up against the wall, you don't have to worry about like a main pathway in front of the sofa chaise. You still want to make sure you have plenty of space in front of the chaise, and I would plan on around 24 inches, just enough so that someone could move around that end of the sofa chaise or even sit down on that end of the sofa chaise and easily get up and move around. And the other thing that you may want to take a look at is if a sofa chaise would work with your existing furniture. And this is if you are going to buy a new sofa or a new sofa chaise and have it be the same size as your existing sofa in the same spot. And with end tables, well, that won't be a problem. But some other pieces of furniture that you may already have may not quite work with a sofa chaise. So you want to take a look at this. You would want to take a look at if you have accent chairs or an accent chair and a coffee table, because they may work well with your existing configuration and layout with your current sofa. But you'll want to look and see if that will work with a sofa chaise. So with a coffee table, ideally, it's nice to have 18 inches in between the edge of a sofa and the edge of the coffee table, because this leaves plenty of room for someone to squeeze in there and have a seat at the sofa or be able to easily access what's on the coffee table. With a sofa chaise, we almost have to think about the other side of the coffee table because the chaise part is now perpendicular to the sofa. We also want to try to set aside 18 inches on that one side of the coffee table. in between the coffee table and the sofa chaise. So if your coffee table is too large to accommodate that, that may not work. If you really have your mindset on a sofa chaise and it doesn't bother you that maybe that existing coffee table isn't going to work out, what you could do is buy a new coffee table. And one design of coffee table that might be kind of fun to buy that adds some flexibility would be nesting style of tables. And so that way you can move them around and adjust them depending on how much space that you have available. And with your existing coffee table, maybe you could repurpose that as a nice table to put under your TV that is attached to the wall, or to use it in another area of the room or another room as a place for books or accessories. But if you really love your existing coffee table, then maybe just going with a nice new sofa will work better for you. And then with an accent chair, take a look at your existing layout that you have. An accent chair next to the chaise part of the sofa can provide kind of an awkward sort of layout. So take some time to see if you can place that accent chair somewhere else. And another thing that you may find when you're shopping for a sofa with a chaise is you'll find what's called a bumper chaise. And all this is that it's almost like a bumper that's on the side or on part of the chaise. And it's a back area that is extended into that chaise part of the sofa, compared to a regular chaise that's just flat. The nice thing about a bumper style of chaise is that it provides another seat. And that goes back to the coffee table scenario. If that is going to be another seating area, it would be important to make sure you have plenty of space in between your coffee table and that part of the bumper chaise. And then the other thing to take a look at is if a sofa chaise would kind of interrupt the current flow that you have going on in your room. A sofa chaise is kind of nice. It's almost like it's creating an enclosed area. So that's a really fun and nice thing where we are drawn to that area and it kind of feels nice and cozy over there. Well, if that kind of changes up the flow and layout to your room, is that going to be a good thing, or will it interrupt the flow too much? And you may just want to go with a nice new sofa. So just take some time to be in your living room area and see how that would look and feel to kind of change things up a bit with a sofa chaise instead of a sofa. And if you really like the flow that you currently have, well, maybe just buying a new sofa will just add that refreshed look that you're looking for. So I would love to find out from you, when you were shopping for a new sofa, but you also thought about getting a sofa chaise instead, how did you make the decision on which one to buy? So please share your experience in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time when we discover more neat things about interior design. Take care.